Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 2 of Apex this GT3. I'm going to be Daniel Zippy Salmon here in the booth. Give me 1 second here, I'm going to try and multitask. There we go. I'm an up-and-coming producer, experienced commentator, and an amateur standing-up comedian. Joining me tonight from Atomic Racing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the one, the only, Mr. Richard Swindles. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Richard. Well, moving on, let's take a quick look at what you can look forward to with Apex this Season 20 GT3 live here on Pit Road Productions. So as I have a quick look at the schedule here, we was at Watkins Glen last week, and today we're going to be at the Algave International Circuit Grand Prix, followed by the Nürburgring Grand Prix Strecker configuration. So that's quite a long track, you know, definitely going to be plenty of cameraman employed for that one. And then one of my personal favorites will be at Daytona, followed by well, one of the Canadian favorites, CTMP, before going to Autodromo Carlos Place. Take us through the second part of the schedule there, if you would, Mr. Swindles. Nine straight weeks. We got more. It's 12 weeks, Richard. 12 weeks. There we go. Well, that's an absolutely beautiful schedule. At the minute, the guys are just doing a little bit of qualifying. We're going to try and tune into that now. Let's take a quick peek. We're here, we're live, and yeah, let's currently see who sat at the front. It's Jameson Cusworth. He sat at the front right now, not out on track. I'm going to make sure I got the audio unmuted for you. There we go. Now we've got a little bit of iRacing audio. I say a little bit. I'm not quite hearing it. Why is that? May need a bit of an adjustment there. We do apologize for the technical difficulties. That would be me tinkering with things that I probably should not tinker with. Let's go and have a look here. Get that iRacing audio back up. There we go. Interesting. Had to make quite the adjustment to that this time around. But we're back. We're cooking. And yeah, we should be good to go. So as I have a look right now, Jameson Cusworth, he's out in front. The gap not currently showing. I'm not too sure why. Oh, it's because you know what? Nobody's posted a lap yet. They've just done an out lap, and now they're going and setting some time lapse. This is going well, ladies and gentlemen. Going well. Richard, I understand you did a couple of practice laps with this. Tell us a little bit about the track.
Well, you're asking a lot. I tried the Corvette for the first time ever, and the track itself is pretty technical with a lot of elevation changes. So I think the drivers are going to enjoy this thoroughly. It's definitely going to be a good test of their abilities. A couple of hairpins, some nice flowing corners, and like I said, lots of elevation changes. So they're going to have to be pretty careful, especially when they're going around the sausage curves that seem to appear here and there.
Well, that is an interesting point to make. These curbs often in iRacing, you know, they can be a little bit bigger than first perceived. But as we're having a look now, we're going to be looking forward to seeing a couple of the lap times come in. We'll get a little bit of a baseline there. But, yep, it's going to be an interesting field for sure. Let's talk a little bit about last week's results. So, last week was at Watkins Glen, and we had, who was it in front? It was Ryan Otis, actually, who was your race leader. And I don't see him in here tonight. Interesting. Second place, we had, where they gone? I gotta get my script back up here. I'm only so good, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to...
Second place was Austin Diltz. And I don't see him either.
Yeah, okay, so I guess, you know, podium and then bail out, but then Brian's in. He is in there, and he was third place last time, so it's good to see some guys, some repeat offenders almost, going to be out back on the track. But, you know, normally we don't end up in qualifying quite this quickly, so the question is, are we more organised than usual or less? Well, we'll find out very shortly, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm looking forward to seeing a couple of these lap times go and hit the board.
Yeah, Brian Zinn, who we were just showcasing earlier, he's a regular. He's been with Apex, this regular racer, many seasons now. I expect him to do well.
Well, this is good. We've got the first times coming on the board, and it's Daniel McKelvey. He's put in the fastest lap so far, the 1:44.5. Adrian Adams not far behind him, about 2/10 of a second. Philip Adams even closer as well, 3/10 as well. Really not a lot in it as we speak, and what I am going to do, let's make our lives a little bit easier here, is we're going to put up a little thing at the bottom that's going to try and help us. There we go. That's not quite the one I wanted. Hang on. That is. There we go. That's making life easier. And I got to say, Brian's in. What an absolutely fantastic paint job on that Corvette. It's fair to say that the man appears to be rather patriotic, having the stars and stripe draped all over the rear wheel wells of that car. But let's have a look quickly as well. I'm going to see if we can get on board with somebody for a flying lap in just a moment. Currently, Daniel McKelvey, he's currently way off his pace as I'm looking through trying to find someone who's in the green. There's quite a few of them, actually. Let's have a quick look at Jordan Musser. He's in a Porsche 911 GT3R, the 992 variety. Currently sat back in 6th place. We'll try and see if we can change the cameras over for you here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can get an on board with him in just a moment.
See as we go around this lap how technical it can be. You've got sweeping corners, you've got increasing radius corners, decreasing radius corners, elevation changes, some big curves, small curves. You got a mix of everything here.
Well, it looks like he's heading towards the start-finish line. I would like to say that I knew this track, but honestly, I haven't even managed to turn a lap at it at this point. But it looks like a really nice, long start-finish stretch. He's full on, absolutely sending it in 6th gear. Really very fast technical corner there through 4th, as there's one of them sausage curves that Richard was mentioning as well. And another good thing to mention is that there appears to be quite a lot of runoff, so should things go sideways, there is room to recover. As you can see a little bit of an understeer there from Jordan Musser, absolutely hard on the throttle. 4th, 5th, can I see 6th? No, not quite long enough. Really pushing that car. A little bit of understeer again. Definitely, you know, it's going to be a fun, interesting track, and I like the fact as well it's quite wide. But sometimes I find the wider tracks can be actually kind of hard to find your bearings. You know, really find the line. You know, be aware of where you are on the track. You see there, just so wide.
Well, the key here to getting a good lap time on this particular circuit is you've got to use all the runoff you can. If you're not going all the way to the edges, you're not going to get a fast lap. Jordan seems to be making pretty good use of space available, though.
Well, currently, as I look around, he's about 0.3 second off his best lap. Daniel McKelvey, though, he's hovering between 0.2 and 0.3 and an improvement, but we're going to stick with Jordan Musser at least for the rest of this lap. Well, 144, you know, that's it's not the shortest of laps. You can see there the crowd is obviously very organized and almost like a, you know, well, they've managed to spell words, which is just purely fantastic, but very open track. And actually, we didn't really talk about the track here. Richard, do you want to talk us? Oh, he's lost it. Jordan Musser. That car just bit mid-corner.
That's not going to do much for his qualifying efforts tonight.
Definitely not the preferred line through there. I will try and take it back a little bit. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a replay.
That looks just like the Porsche doing Porsche things there.
Yeah, definitely one of the harder cars I've found to drive in the sim. But let's go back on board with Daniel McKelvey. So he's currently about 4/10 of a second in the green, 6/10 of a second in the green. So looking to potentially improve and looking at the gap between, let me see, where's he gone now? Yeah, he's in second place. He's, well, 0.02 of a second behind Philip Adams, so there really isn't a lot in it. You know, if he can pull off this lap, he will regain that pole position. And he's done it. He's 2 temps clear. And I've just realized I'm not live. There we go. Amateur hour here in the booth, ladies and gentlemen. The question is, can Philip Adams answer back? I'm going to say probably not. He's 13.6 down. Trying to find somebody who's on a little bit of a hot lap right now, and that would be Kurt Moss. He's 1.4 seconds in the green. At least it's telling me. Timing lied. Why am I not getting this car up? Okay, try Kent Kruger. Nobody's appearing for me, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Richard, are you getting anything on your session, or have I got an iRacing issue going on right now?
Well, they're 9 minutes into their qualifying effort. It's only a 10-minute session, so let me just double check and see if I can find Kent here and see if he's out on track. Yeah, Kent is on track right now, so I think you may have an issue going on your side.
What have I done? I broke it. Okay, so I'm not too sure what's going on with this. Interesting. It's not timed me out of the session. Have you got Jameson Cusworth on track?
Jameson Cuthworth is just leaving the pits now. He's a little late. He's not going to get a lap in. He's just coming out on an out lap, and their qualifying efforts are just about over. So
interesting. Interesting. So, yeah, that could be a problem. We're going to try.
While you work through that, Zippy, I'll just read through who's where in qualifying and let people know what's going on while you try and get the technical details sorted out.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out what's going on with that. We could try and do the grid, though. Let me try and pop that up for you. Hang on 1 second here. Okay, so here we got the starting grid. If you want to do the honor, sir.
Yeah, we've got Daniel McKelvey in first place, starting on pole, followed by Philip Adams, then followed by Adrian Adams. Neil McDougall, then Brian Zinn. Starting 6 on row 3 is Jordan Musser. Starting 7th, Kurt Moss, followed by Tony Phillips.
So we have a look at 9th. We got Ali Selly. He's in 9th alongside Jameson Cusworth with Raymond Bykoff and Mark Miller behind him in 11 and 12. Troy Banks and Corey Mitchell, they take up the next row in 13th and 14th with Matthew Morhart and Luke Solberg closing out that line in 15th and 16th.
Well, you're giving this to me. We've got William Matajek in 17th, followed by Morgan Smith. Sean Giroux in 19th, followed by Big Dog Kent Kruger in 20th. We've got Russell Elizondo, 21st, followed by Tyler Reeb, 22nd, Brian Ewalt, 23rd, and it looks like Rob Campbell, but he did not set down a time. 25th is Dylan Furlong and Donald Mensing. Both of them did not set a time. I'm not sure if they're going to make the grid.
Okay, so I'm going to just try and get rid of that. I've got a feeling something has interfered here, so I'm just going to try and close off a few things, see if we can get this back. Not sure what's happening there. I've literally got nobody.
Well, they're just heading out on their pace lap.
All right, so be prepared. I'm just going to put on the... I don't have a Be Right Back screen, but I think I'm going to have to reconnect to the session. I'm not sure what's going on, so I'm going to leave you on cameras just for the moment. Richard's going to fill you in while I try and get reconnected, see what's going on. Richard?
So they're following, they're following the pace car right now, and they're going around just doing their out lap. Apex, this goes on green. It is not the pole position, does not get to decide when they go. It's a matter of they must go on green. Try and keep everything cleaner going through and starting things off, though.
Well, the good thing is as well, I have just found that the iRacing track map actually has a couple of corner names. So turn 1's called Primera, turn 3 is Lagos, 8 is Samsung. I guess we can guess who sponsored that corner. 11 is Portimao, 14 is Sagres, and 15, the long right-hander, is Gout. But we're going to be trying to get back into the session as quick as we can. Richard, if you see them going green, by all means start narrating the audio, sir. I'm going to be trying to get that feed back up for you as soon as we can.
Sounds good, Zippy.
Don't you just love
Looks
it
like
when a plan comes together?
It looks like they're doing a full pace lap, so it gives us a little bit of time here. Probably to try and get all the drivers used to this track and maybe calm them down a little bit.
Oh, I can definitely sympathise that. Often if you go from qualifying where you had a little bit of heat in the tyres to then getting the car out on cold tyres and all of a sudden you're not a solo, you're surrounded by people, it can be rather challenging. It's quite a shock to the system. The sim is at 90%. I'm hoping we can get loaded in. Whereabouts are they on track right now, Richard?
Well, that I'm not too sure on, to be honest with you, Zippy. I'm a little zoomed in too far, but it looks like the pace car's still out there, so they're all forming up. They haven't bunched up totally yet, so we've got another couple of corners to go, it looks like. They're making the big right sweepers, which leads to the straightaway for the start-finish line, so we're getting pretty close to starting here.
Well, I literally just
the
joined.
The pace car's just pulled off the track.
Here we go. And
we're back
cameras
live.
alive. Here we go. That wasn't tense at all.
Timed it just right, like we planned it that way.
Yep, definitely sandbagging a little bit there, but you can see there they are off. I'm going to get the theme back up for you in just a second. Take it away, Richard.
Yeah, we're going on green. We've got a tight battle. We're going 2 wide with the third up the middle. And it looks like Daniel McKelvey takes the first corner. Using all the track and then some. We've got a couple of things going on in behind the leaders, but the front several cars get through clean.
Yeah, there's a Corvette I've seen in the background having a little bit of a whoops there, and that's okay. You know, these things happen. We will try and get you a replay in just a moment. I'm just going to try and get the ticker and stuff like that back. I'm going to try to. It's not playing ball. Definitely it is a night of hardware failures this evening. We'll see what we can do for it, but why is none of this coming back? What did I do? It broke it.
Well, that's okay. It may be broken, but we're watching live racing, and that's what we're here for.
Going for the more scenic shot right now. We're going to have that back for you as soon as we can here, ladies and gentlemen. I've actually been out commentating the track road racing series today at Atlantic Motorsport Park, so it's been a very busy day.
You're a little tired, are you?
I'm tired and at this point confused because nothing is working for me. I don't know what is going on. It says it's connected. And yet, no bueno.
Well, sometimes things just don't want to work the way you want them to. In the meantime,
okay.
We've got some good action going on. They're just coming around to complete lap 1. We've got Daniel McKelvey in first place still. But it looks like Adrian Adams is giving him a good push on the outside, trying to find a line to get by him.
I don't know why, but iRacing just jumped to the next screen. There we go. All right, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we are back. I say that now. Here we go.
We're bumping in third and fourth, and they're going hard into this corner.
All right, here we go. We are cooking on gas.
Ryan Zinn just sent it into that corner to take third.
Oh!
We got an incident.
Let me see if I can find it for you.
That looked like Brian Zinn and somebody else back there battling for third.
So this was Morgan Smith. You can see there at the back of the screen, that Mustang went round, caught the Lamborghini, and absolutely chaos and pandemonium. And then they've hit again. Morgan Smith, that's got to be their Lamborghini, I think. Yep, I got a feeling the stewards will be busy after that one. Now, last time I did this, I had a feeling it went wrong. So let's see if we go back to live. Oh my gosh, it worked. This is good. We are back in action, ladies and gentlemen. Christy, sorry to see that you're missing another session, and well, congratulations on the fact you've got a baby, so that's pretty awesome. Don't get me wrong, for somebody who want to do that with me, they've got to be blind, drunk, or desperate. But as we look at the race standings right now, Daniel McKelvey, he's out in front. He was your pole sitter, and he is currently pulling away about 7/10 of a second to Adrian Adams. Philip Adams, that gap grown a little bit there, 2.4 seconds behind him, and then the whole field generally starting to spread out a little bit. While I say that, you know, we're going off the gap. I'm going to see if I can change that to, yeah, that's gap off the leader. I'll have a little play with that, but so far, a little bit of a colourful race so far. I see a couple of drivers have been flagged for driving slowly. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Corvettes, actually.
Never what you...
My apologies. Corvettes, actually, first, second, and third as it stands.
You know, I tried that Corvette for the first time this afternoon, and I'm not too surprised. It's a new car. People want to try it, and it's an American car, and it's an American-based league, so...
Well, it looks like, as I take a little peek at the timing screen, the biggest battle we've got going on is, it's from Neil McDougall and back. So he's got behind him, he's got Kurt Moss, Jordan Musser, Corey Mitchell, Troy Banks, and Mark Miller. All of these guys are under a second to each other. Then you've got a little bit of a gap by Roman Bykoff, followed by Jameson Cuthbert, and then another huge battle all the way from basically 11th place down to 19th, 20th. So, yeah, definitely quite a closely packed field. I see a warning here. That was an old one. Okay, perfect. Everything's looking pretty good as it stands so far. There we go. We've got a little bit of a comparison screen going on there. So Neil McDougall, it's telling us 1.9 seconds. I'm not too convinced by that. Oh, you gotta love it when stuff works together, right? Just love it. There we go. Daniel McKelvey, though, he's just set a fastest lap for 1:44. I say that. Adrian Adams took it very quickly back off him. So, you know, definitely, you know, a lot to play for as it goes so far. He's actually caught up a little bit onto Daniel McKelvey now. So you can see there, he's 0.4, 0.3 of a second behind him. We're going to go on board with Adrian Adams. Let's take a closer look at the view that he's getting. Corvette versus Corvette, but it is a open series setup, so you know these guys may have tuned the car a little differently. You know, it's hard to say. Well, maybe we'll chat to them afterwards, but see they're absolutely pushing, using as much of the track as he can, and it looks like he's definitely gained a little bit on him. I say that he's about 6/10 back. It's just in a slower part of the track, but a little bit of a slide there. Let's take a look back at actually Sean Garou. He was one of the people who was watching a lot of Watkins Glen. He's trying to make a move on Kent Big Dog Kruger, and Ferrari versus Corvette in this scenario. Can he get it done?
Well, Kent's not going to make it easy on him, I can tell you that. Kent's also a seasoned racer, much like myself, so he knows what he's doing.
That's the view from the back of Kent's car. You can see, even if Sean Garou gets by, he's got William Matijek right behind. Matthew Morhart fighting him a little bit behind there. You can see the R8 and the Mustang. I thought there was going to be contact there as well. Very, very close. I'm not too sure why the timing in the middle is saying 2.8 seconds. I think that is flagging. Yeah, that's flagging to Jameson Cusworth ahead of him, rather than the battle that we're watching. So definitely a few challenges here. I feel very it's not going to plan tonight.
Well, it never does, but we'll persevere and get through this.
I'm definitely going to give it our best. I'm just going to hit a couple of different buttons now, see. It's reading the wrong data. Ah, what a pain. Just can't win, ladies and gentlemen. Just can't win. But we're at lap 5 of 23, and it's fair to say things have they're going colourful so far. We're on board with the back of Kent. This is the closest battle. I say that now. Daniel McKelvey's got a Corvette in his rearview mirror as well. Adrian Adams keen on the attack. Well, have a look at their last lap. McKelvey did a 145.198. Adams 145.161, so really just 300ths of a second in it. Well, 3700ths of a second in it if you're getting down to the wire, but very, very close battles going on. Definitely not my most familiar track, that's for sure, but as I look through the field, you know, Corey Mitchell, he's pulled away a little bit of a gap that's dropped behind Kurt Moss, and yeah, quite a few people in play as it stands. Looks like Donald Mensing, something's just happened to him. He's dropping back through the field. Let's take a quick peek, see what's going on there. Give me 1 second here. I need to change the camera. That is the Ford Mustang. So let's see if we can get a little bit of a replay here, see what happened. Oh, caught a little bit of curb, fishtailed, and yeah, he was out of here.
Yeah, those curbs are going to get you there. I noticed that when I was doing my few practice laps just to learn this track a little bit. They're definitely going to bite, and they bit there.
Yeah, definitely not hard to do, but as I have a look through the field, let's take a quick look at Morgan Smith. Now, he was involved in that incident a little bit earlier. Now, one good thing about Apex, there are many, is that, you know, you do get one fast repair, and I can let you know that he hasn't used that yet, so that earlier collision not causing a problem at this point. That's definitely good news. You see there, the car in front of him, that's Dylan Furlong. He's gone off a little bit, took the wide line. I do wonder if he'll be penalized with a slowdown. Definitely, you know, would be something to keep in mind. But Morgan Smith, he was definitely one of the stars of our broadcast last week. He's keen on the attack, and he's about 0.4 of a second behind Dylan.
Yeah, there's definitely, it's easy to get a slowdown.
Oh!
It's easy to get a slowdown on this track, and the slowdowns are going to punish you greatly, but not as much as that did.
He looked for the gap and he thought it was there, and it's fair to say the rug was swept out right from underneath him, so that ends his battle for the minute. But Mark Miller, as I take a look, it looks like there's Corey. Yeah, that's Corey Mitchell at the front of the pack. He's in the Corvette, followed by Troy Banks. He's another Apex this regular, and Mark Miller. So you got two Corvettes and a 911, and then Robin Bykov. He's hanging it in the background there. So quite a different mix here. If I have a look at the best laps, these guys are all very, very evenly matched. They're all doing... Troy Banks and Mark Miller, they're both doing a 46.1. Corey Mitchell barely hitting the 146.2, so really not a lot in it. And actually, as I have a look through the field as well, you can see Brian Zinn, he dropped down pretty heavily from that incident earlier. Jordan Musser, he's retired, but currently your hard charger, Kent the Big Dog Kruger, as I say that, Sean Garou is looking like he may try and make a move as they're going down the front straight. He's right tucked beneath the rear wing. He's going to the inside. He's going to make it happen under the braking. He's claimed that corner, and he is past Kent the Big Dog Kruger.
Multiple different ways to take that first couple of corners with the big sweeping corners and then the tight third corner here. Very nice job there.
Well, definitely a clean pass, and that means that Ken Kruger is no longer the hard charger. It's going down to Corey Mitchell. Quite a few people who've moved 8 places through the grid, but for me, the hard charger is the one who's furthest ahead. But I'm getting alerts on the screen. Let's try and see what happened to Luke Solberg. Getting a warning that he may have had an accident. Oh, again, another Mustang getting loose. A little bit of a spin, but thankfully able to control it and get off the track, so that's good news. And Donald Mensing as well. Yeah, that Mustang seems to be very, very tail happy. I mean, I didn't see any crowd stood there, so I'm not too sure what happened. And we've also got a flag for Brian Ewald as well. This time it's a Corvette. A little bit twitchy under braking, it seems.
Well, as for the Mustang, I think we both experienced that when we did some testing in that last week, Zippy. So I'm not too surprised to see that back end, you know, wanting to come around on them.
Yeah, I can sympathise there. We was lucky enough to compete in the Watkins Glen 6 hour, and I say compete. We showed up. We did that. we learned a few things. We learned
up and we finished, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, we did. We did manage to finish, but it looks like a pass has just happened. Yep, Philip Adams has made it past Donald McDoodle. Let's take a quick look. We'll get a quick replay of that. So that's the Corvette making a move on the 911. It looks quick. It looks clean, and he does it going down the start-finish straight. Excellent pass, and I'm getting a warning that Troy Banks has made it past Corey Mitchell as well. So as soon as we chop to one replay to see some of the action, somebody else goes and makes another pass. You see there, looks like turn one is a very popular spot. Corey Mitchell almost closing the gap on him there. Troy Banks goes out wide a little bit, and Corey Mitchell takes that position back. And Mark Miller almost going and taking the position away from Troy Banks as well.
That's what you want to see when you're watching a race. Good hard racing, good clean racing. All three of those guys, regular Apex this racers for a long, long time.
As I have a look as well, we're going to head back into 14th position. And I can see why. Kent, you are going to be under attack very soon. You've got about 3 cars behind you, all vying for your position. So Kent Kruger, he's going to be the Ferrari at the front of your screen there, the lime green colored one. He's followed by William Matijak in 13th, with Matthew Morhart in 14th, and Tony J. Phillips, he's there in 15th. And it does look like the Mustang is really, really struggling to try and get that low end traction. But I say that he's making a move on the R8 while he's trying to. Not quite found the real estate to get the thing done, but we do know so far that the best passing position has been going down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, it's definitely the easiest spot. It's the longest place. You get a little bit of a draft, and then there's multiple lines going into corner one, so you can dive up the inside, which may compromise your exit on it may compromise your exit, but at least get that position going in.
Oh, you have to excuse me, having a little bit of coughing. I've been doing a lot of talking today, and actually people have been enjoying it, which is an interesting change. With that Mustang, he's right up there. Is he going to make a move? He's going down the start-finish line. He's got the draft. I don't know if it's quite been enough. He's made it by, but can he go and get Kent Kruger? Barely. I say barely. He's not quite got it done. He's going to have to force the issue going into turn one. Not able to turn in. It is Matthew Morhart. And yeah, he gets the position done. Clean sweep. This looks like the Porsche is trying to have a go at the R8 as well.
Well, that's making Kent happy up there in his lime green Ferrari, it looks like, because let those guys battle behind him. They can't pass him when they're battling with each other.
So Matthew Morhart, he is under the attack from William Matijak. I do wish I could edit this template a little bit. I'm going to have a play with that, but that's who we got eyes on right now. I'm going to try and let's change the template around a little bit so we can focus more about the car we're on. It's going to get rid of the compare. There we go, and we're going to go for that. All right, much better there. As I have a quick look as well, so your race leader Daniel McKelvey, he's pulled about 2 seconds away from Adrian Adams right now. And then there's about 4.5 seconds back again to Philip Adams. But oh, that looked like the 911 just took the scenic route. See the Porsche there. That looked like contact.
That looked like contact, but it looked like that 911 wanted to go somewhere where there wasn't any room to go.
Yeah, I do wonder if maybe the curbs played a little bit of a part in that. And I see that William is flagged for driving slowly, but everything seems to be okay. So that's good news there. I think we're back to live again. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Let's have a look. Oh, we got another battle going on. Yep, Matthew Morhart. He'd already made the move on William Matijak and Tony Phillips, and now he's going to try and take a piece of Kent, the big dog Kruger. So we've seen Kent, again, he's been iRacing for quite a while. He drives a Miata in real life. I think he's frequently at Coda, and not only that, at Eagle Canyon Raceway as well. So fair to say that the guy gets a lot of real-time track experience, but in the sim, he's definitely, he's out there, he's active, and he's doing it. He's been an admin at Apex since the very start. I know Bjorn as well, he was there at the start. A couple of the guys, I think Brian Zinn was there as well. So definitely good to see that the league is still going and still growing strong. Actually, one of the biggest iRacing leagues on the service as it stands.
Yeah, they've done a good job of marketing and continuing to grow and replacing drivers as they leave. And Kent is instrumental in that. He really takes pride in getting this thing up and growing. It's just nice to see. I mean, this league's been ongoing for, 5 or 6 years now, and it's as big now as ever.
Well, it's definitely good to see leagues having great success. Certainly during COVID, a lot of iRacing took off. You couldn't go racing out in real life. But I see here in a second, Kurt Moss. It's 911 versus 911. It's Neil McDougall. He's going to be the car in front. And then Kurt Moss is in the A23 right behind. So these guys having a little bit of a Porsche battle as it stands. You can see Philip Adams ahead of him. Yep, that's Philip Adams ahead of him. So, yeah, it looks like Kurt Moss is going to try and make a move, a very popular move into turn 1. Not quite able to get alongside, but he's definitely applying the pressure to Neil McDougall. That's another way that you can race, you can drive. You know, it's not necessarily just about having the speed, but applying pressure, trying to force them into an unintentional mistake as they go through one of the slower parts of the track.
And looks like we're just over halfway through this race, Zippy, and pit stops are starting to come up. It looks like we're getting Kent Kruger is the first one to take his mandatory stop for fuel.
They say that. It looks like Brian Zinn and Dylan Furlong, they're having a battle. A little bit of Corvette versus Corvette action. Again, turn 1 seems to be that very, very popular passing opportunity. You know, I do wonder where these guys, where else can they find pass, you know? It's quite a wide track. We see the opportunity, but at the minute, a lot of these drivers choosing to hold back. But I say that Troy Banks and Corey Mitchell, they're going to be back at it again. I see one of the closest battles on track, about half a second in it between these two Corvettes.
Well, both of these drivers I've known for quite a while. Neither of them are afraid to make a pass anywhere on track. So, you know, most of the passes we've been seeing in turn 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if Troy gets close enough. He'll tuck it in wherever he can.
Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a change at the camera angles as well. Let's see what we can do. I need to get my new stream deck sorted out and wired up, but I've not managed to pick it up yet. These things happen. The car that the gentleman was supposed to be driving actually lost a hub off the right rear. It was fantastically piece of artwork. The brake rotor had about a quarter of it missing, and the hub had literally snapped off. So, yeah, definitely a interesting technique. Down at the rear racetrack, we see there's one of the 911s filing into the pits. I think that was Jameson Cusworth.
Yes, that was.
Yeah, he's headed into the pits. So, yeah, taking the earlier pit stop strategy. Myself, I always tended to go on the side of trying to spend as little time in the pits as possible. But right now, these are the guys that are going to be fighting for position. You see there, Troy Banks trying to put a little bit of a nose in and thinking better of it. He likes the Corvette, keeping that in pristine condition. And as I have a look through the standings as well, a couple of drivers have used their fast repair. Jameson Cusworth is one of them. He's just been in the pits. Morgan Smith, he's one of them. He was that Lamborghini we saw involved in an incident earlier. Lux Solberg, Ali Salah, these guys have used the fast repair so far, and only 2 retirements from the 26 car grid. Tyler Reeb and Jordan Musser. We saw Jordan have a little bit of an incident earlier. And your current hard charger, Sean Garou.
So one nice thing about Apex is they give you that one fast repair. You kind of a get out of jail free card. So if you get involved in something, you're not out of the race. You still got a chance. Go in, get your fast repair, get back out, get racing, see what you can get out of it.
Absolutely. It's almost like that, you know, accident forgiveness when it comes to the insurance. And we are definitely seeing a couple of guys file through the pits, but it looks like these 911s, the battle's not quite over yet. Kurt Moss has managed to take the position from Neil McDougall, but for how long will it last? These guys may be running different pit strategies, you know. I find as well with iRacing and how they keep constantly developing the tire model, you know, if you overdrive the car, your tires will start to fade off near the end. So again, something to keep in mind. While it could be advantageous to push early, I think Adrian Adams has just come in the pit. Yep, that's good. Adrian Adams is in the pit. I saw him dropping back through the order, so all is well there. And yeah, Troy Banks and Corey Phillips. I do suspect that these guys will probably pit in synchronization unless Troy Banks thinks he can get an undercut. Closing right up to the back of Corey Mitchell at that particular moment, and just ahead of him, trying to work out who that blue car is. I do wonder if that's lap traffic.
When it comes to Troy Banks, he will not be doing an undercut. I can almost guarantee it. He's generally the very last car to pit on every race he's in. But we will see if that holds true tonight.
Well, definitely going to be a good battle. And so far, we've had a few going through the field. I don't think the drivers are quite as familiar here as they were at Watkins Glens. It is one of the newer tracks on the iRacing service, and definitely one, as you were saying earlier, where you really need to get the maximum pace out of this circuit. You need to use all of the track limits, and that can be quite hard, quite demanding, especially with some of the sausage curbs around on track. But I'm going to try and find out for you who is that blue car ahead of us. Gone the wrong way. It doesn't go. It goes by run order. So, okay, good effort. Let's see if I can get the car number off that in just a second there. We'll take a peek. Unless you can get that on your side, Richard. 110. Okay, it's the 110 car. So the 110, as I have a look through, that's Ali Salih. Yeah, he is lap traffic. He's currently sat back in 23rd place. Second last to running right now, obviously, with those 2 retirements. Nobody really near him on track, so I'm sure he'll be quite courteous in shifting out of the way. But at the minute, the closest battle is between Corey Mitchell and Troy Banks. And that Corvette ahead of Ali Salah, that's going to... that's going to definitely give Corey a little bit of help there, because if he can get into that draft, then that is going to help try and pull him away from Troy Banks.
Yeah, and Corey's going to use all of that tow he can, and you know, Corey's very experienced in this league. He knows how to drive. He's going to make sure he's going to take all advantage of that. Ali Salih, he's been around with Apexes for quite a while. It took some seasons off, but he's back now. He's not going to hold them up. You know, he's a classy racer. When he sees them get up to him, I have a feeling he's just going to, you know, move over, let them go by. But in the meantime, Corey's going to use all he can. Troy's not going to let go. Troy's going to also use Corey. So we'll see what happens here. Troy's getting pretty close right now. Troy is, he's only 2.5 tenths behind Corey. There you go. Ali's pulling over, letting these guys go by. Classy move. Let them get back to battling with no interference. We're lap 14 of 23 here at Apex. This 29 minutes gone in a 40-minute scheduled race. Leader Danny McKelvey, followed by Philip Adams, Kurt Moss, Neil McDougall in 4th. And what we're watching right now is Corey Mitchell battling for 5th with Troy Banks all over him.
Well, it's definitely been an interesting race so far, and they are lap 15 of 23. I'm seeing a warning as well that Donald Main Singh, he may have crashed. This is definitely not a warnings I tend to like seeing on the thing. Let's have a quick look to see what happened. It's that Ford Mustang again. Definitely been really, really hard to get around cleanly. And yeah, it looks like he's just pulled off track.
Yeah, I didn't see anything going on there. I don't know if maybe he had some technical issues with the car, or...
I'm not too sure what is happening with that, but we're going to go back on board with Troy Banks. Yeah, he's trying to chase down Corey Mitchell. Not quite able to get it done there, but these guys will soon be getting ready to head into the pits. Your current hard charger, Sean Garou, one of the stars of the broadcast last time round, he's a little bit further back from him. He's about 9.5 seconds behind Mark Miller. So he's about 11 seconds behind this fight, but we're going to just try and get the Cameroni. Technical term there, Cameroni changed around. There we go, and that is the view on board with Troy Banks. You see Ali Salih, he's getting well out of the way, lets them both go by. I'm sure they'll both be grateful for that. So as I have a look at the last lap as well, these guys both pretty evenly matched. Corey did a 147 flat with Troy Banks doing a 146.7, so really not a lot in it. Able to close the gap a little bit under braking. A lot under braking. That was a huge, huge leap there on Corey Mitchell. But again, is he going to be able to get it done? You know, it's all very good being late into the corner, but if you lose on the exit speed, it's just going to penalize you. And it looks like that's exactly what happened. Corey Mitchell able to pull them car lamps a couple of lamps back. You see that 5th gear, a little bit of a twitch there from the Corvette as he absolutely sends it. 6th gear, we'll try and get a reading on the speed if we can, but as I'm taking a look, 226. That's okay. That's got to be kilometers. There's no way to doing that in miles an hour.
No, I've got them going. I've got Troy going at 161 miles an hour down the straight, maxing out at 161. So I've got it in Freedom units. You've got it in Canadian units. We got everybody covered here.
I got a feeling we're out of live right now because it's telling me that Troy Banks is in the... Yep, there you go. Damn it! Troy Banks is currently your race leader. It just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, there's only so much a man can do. I think I maybe burnt the candle on both ends a little bit today, and I'm certainly paying the price. As you see there, Neil McDougall leaving the pits. He's got Philip Adams just ahead of him, so these guys may potentially be getting a battle going on very soon. Corey Mitchell's just left the pits as well. So Troy Banks, he's managed to leapfrog ahead for the moment. Corey Mitchell taking the earlier pit stop. It'd be interesting to see where Troy Banks appears when he comes out now that he's got a little bit of open air. Currently your race leader, but that's Adrian Adams there. He's in the, I'd say that's like a light blue colored Corvette, and he is hot, trying to chase down Kurt Moss ahead of him. Corvette versus 911, and so far we've seen the Corvette really be probably one of the most balanced cars in the GT3 field so far.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that car. I've only done 7 or 8 laps on this track in it, but it feels really, really nice. The mid-engine just is, I don't know, it just suits my style better than the rear engine or the front engine rear-wheel drive. It's a nice car to drive.
Certainly one of my favorite cars in the sim was the Corvette GTE. I've spent many a lap around Daytona doing that, but as it sits right now, it's not better than that Porsche because the Porsche of Kurt Moss is holding on. Adams looking to try and make a move, but I imagine going down the start, a little bit of a wiggle there from Adams.
The tires might be starting to wear on them a little bit. Looks like Troy Banks has finally come in for his pit stop.
So it's going to be interesting to see where he is when he rejoins the field. Daniel McKelvey, he's just about to shoot by. I'm going to try and change the camera out for you. There you go. He's just shot by. See one of the Mustangs coming in the pits as well, the R8 we've seen earlier. And Troy Banks is released from the stall. Now, the one to watch is going to be Corey Mitchell. Whereabouts is he going to be on the way round?
Corey usually has a really quick pit stop as long as he doesn't get a black flag and or speeding in the pits. He's gonna be
Okay,
hard
so that's...
to catch.
Yep, that was Troy Banks on the side. So Corey Mitchell has managed to make it past Troy Banks, but not by a lot. It's about 1.4, 1.5 seconds. So yeah, as you were saying, Richard, Corey Mitchell not taking much time in the pits at all and potentially leapfrogged himself out of the range of Troy Banks.
You can't beat him on the track. Beat him in the pits, and whoa, who went off there?
That's Matthew Morehart. I was just getting a little bit of a warning that he took a little bit of a scenic route, but he's got a Mustang ahead of him. Really seen the Mustangs struggle to get grip around this circuit. They've definitely been having a harder time, and certainly when I tried the car at Watkins Glen, I found it was quite challenging to control, even with a professional setup. But as I take a quick look as well, Rob Campbell, who's he fighting? So he's in a Porsche, and he's chasing down the Ferrari of Ken Kruger.
That's big dog. Yeah, Rob had an incident earlier in the race. Had to take his faster pair, but he's fighting back. He didn't set a qualifying lap, so he started from the back, was moving up, got in an incident, and went right to the back, and is fighting back again. He's up to 15th.
Well, he's definitely, you know, he's making a recovery drive, and currently your hard charger in the field with 9 positions gained. Just for background reference, he's about 2400 IR, 2500 IR. So in theory, I'm as quick as he is, but I'm highly doubtful as the fact is that was an absolutely huge send there on Ken Kruger, and he made it pay off. Like, Ken hard on the brakes there.
Well, I'm a little biased. I've done some broadcasting with Rob in the past, and he was a teammate for a couple of seasons in another league, so way to go, Rob.
Yep, definitely no bias here in the commentary booth, but I'm going to try and get a quick replay queued up of that. Let's have a good look here. You just see there he goes on the inside, making the full use of the brakes in that Porsche. I've always found that you have to be late on the brakes in that car, and he absolutely capitalized on that. Great pass there by Rob Campbell.
Well, the Canadian passing the Texan. You know, he might get thrown out. He better watch himself.
That's all right. If that's the case, I'm going to identify as British. As we got a little bit of a Mustang battle going on here. That's Matthew Morehart. He's chasing down Roman Bykoff ahead of him. So it's the 13 car versus the 62. Sean Garou, he's there in the background in the Stars and Stripes Corvette. Definitely looking to capitalize on that if one of these Mustangs happens to go a cropper. But so far, definitely we've seen him really, really struggle to get grip, especially in the lower end corners.
Yeah, Roman. Nice to see Roman in his traditional Coors Lightning paint scheme.
It looks like he's trying to make a move up the inside. Not quite able to get it done. Roman Bykoff having to go on the defensive at this point. Sean Garou, he's catching up as these guys battle even further. So as we have a look as well, a quick look at the standings, we got a potential battle happening between Phillip Adams and Neil McDougall. We're going to keep an eye on that. There's about 1.2 seconds between them, but so far, closest action right now, Roman Bykoff and Matthew Morehart. That's where the battle is going on right now. Down to 3 tenths of a second, varying up to about 4 tenths. That Mustang getting closer and closer.
there's a fair amount of gap. It looks like Danny McElvery right now has got himself a huge gap to second. Like you said, there's a not a bad distance between second and third. But we're watching the closest battle on track right now, and here we got a good move going on by Matthew Morhart, pushing Roman off the side, and Roman fighting right back and retaining the position, and then Sean Giroux going right by.
I have a feeling that Morhart may have given that back just because he felt it wasn't a clean pass. And if that's the case, that is fantastic, fantastic sportsmanship. But now, you know, he didn't just let Bykov go by. Sean Giroux has got by as well. And not only that, William Matijak, he's there in the background in that Audi R8. He may potentially come into the mix as well. As no, Bykov span.
The big winner in all of this is Sean Giroux. Look at him fly. He started 19th. He's up 9 places. He's in 10th place now.
Yeah, definitely he had a little bit of the action for buy one, get one free. But as we're going to look through the field as well, Matthew Morhart still the closest one on track for trying to take a position. As I say that, something going on with Brian Zinn and Rob Campbell. Okay, Rob Campbell's just in the pits. That's fine. Dylan Furlong, he's about a second behind Tony Phillips. That's the Corvette versus the Porsche head. Now, we did see Dylan getting caught in a couple of incidents earlier. I've seen a couple of the guys as well. Ali Salih has had an incident. Russell Alonso has had an incident. So I don't really want to bring too much attention to that. You know, these things happen. But we'll take a look at one of them. Let's have a look at a little bit, see what happened to Russell here. He's in the Corvette. Sorry, the Audi R8, and it just looked like it over-rotated under braking. What about Ali?
Ali just did a little slow spin and just kept spinning.
Well, I've got to say, it was a beautiful smoke show. So we're seeing really, as well, I wonder if the guys have all gone for like a more lower downforce setup. And then what's happening in the slower corners where obviously you don't have that air pushing on the car. It's just getting a little bit light, especially at the back, causing the car to over-rotate a little bit. So, you know, that potentially is one of the questions we can ask in the interviews. Austin Diltz, last week, we had him in for an interview. So hopefully we'll get some of the race leaders come in this week.
Adrian Adams looks like he's trying real hard, but he's just not being able to get by Kurt Moss here for fourth.
Well, he's definitely putting in the effort. These guys have been battling a little bit today. Corvette versus the Porsche. Now, I've always found that the Corvette was relatively balanced in terms of a car. The Porsche, however, always had to be super late on the brakes to get the most pace out of that car. Myself, never really managed to get the most success out of it, but the Corvette, in terms of the GTE, the Corvette, I've always got on with. It's certainly something I do want to drive more in the sim. But as we say that, there is a car lurking behind, but it is not for position. I think that's actually Rob Campbell who's behind him. But we're going to have a quick look at Troy Banks because he's caught up yet again to Corey Mitchell. So these guys back at it. We saw Corey got about a 1.8 second jump from the pits, and he's gone on the inside line trying to break that draft as Troy Banks has been absolutely reeling the guy in. Last lap closing down about 0.8 of a second. So, yeah, it's fair to say, while Corey may have the superior pit strategy, Troy is definitely the quicker guy on track right now.
Troy's got him on pace. It's just a matter of he got up this close earlier. He just could not get by him, and Corey doesn't make it easy to get by, and you know, he races a Corvette in real life. Oh, Troy's giving him the old razzle dazzle, but I don't think Corey's gonna do anything with that. He's just gonna ignore it and keep driving.
Well, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, and I think that is it's definitely one of the little tactics to try and distract your opponent, especially in the braking zone. But I've always found it doesn't tend to do too much. Don't get me wrong, if you can occupy the driver's mind and drive them absolutely incessantly crazy with flashing, especially in a night race, it does have effect. But currently not able to make the move. Adrian Adams as well, he's about 4 tenths back. I do wonder if he's going to be able to get a shot at Kurt Moss. As I say that, Dylan Furlong and Brian Ewald, they're having a little bit of a battle as well.
Well, we've got good racing up and down the field. I mean, we're going here for 19th place and 18th place. Doesn't matter whether you're racing for 3rd or 4th or you're racing for 18th or 19th. Everybody's having some fun out there tonight.
I have a feeling something's just happened. Yep, Russell Alonso, he's spanning it in the braking zone, having a little bit of a battle with Brian Zinn. But we're going to go back to Troy Banks again because he's currently the closest car on track. Got that gap down to about 0.2 of a second to Corey Mitchell. Corey Mitchell trying to hang on till the end. Can he get it done? We know that so far the start-finish has been the dominant. As you see, Corey Mitchell absolutely hugging the inside wall. He is saying very clearly to Troy Banks, if you want this corner, you are going to have to go the long way round. And Troy Banks choosing not to go the long way, but actually stick right behind him and make as much use of that draft as you can. Very defensive driving from the 12 car of Corey Mitchell.
Corey has a lot of experience driving defensive and offensive. He can make the moves to get up ahead, but he knows how to keep you behind too.
Well, they say different drivers have different personalities, and right now I say Corey Mitchell is the Lord of the Rings fan. He is going full-on Gandalf and telling Troy Banks, you shall not pass, and it's certainly not at a lack of effort. Troy Banks trying to make the moves when he can, but the door just being shut absolutely firmly on him by Corey Mitchell. Corvette versus Corvette.
This is great racing. Great job, guys. Nice and clean. Like to see him keep it clean all the way through the end here.
Well, we're going to take a very quick look at Matthew Morthart. Now, you see, he's one of the Mustangs that's had a little bit more success, getting caught up in a little bit of an incident. But that's Roman Bykoff. We did see him spin out a little bit earlier. So I do wonder if Morthart had a little bit of a detour at some point as well. Yeah, I do see that. Yeah, he was flagged. So definitely, well, a quick look at that. It means Bykoff's been able to get ahead of him. Let's find out what happened to Morthart. Slow speed corner again, and you just see the back end going right out, and this is what gave Bykoff the opportunity.
You don't have to give Roman a special invitation to take that position.
Yep, no, he saw that and he grabbed it. But let's take another peek back with Troy Banks, make sure we're live as well. There we go. He's still trying to chase down Corey Mitchell. He's going to try and get it done on the start-finish straight again, and that's the white flag waving as well. So Daniel McKelvey, he's taking the white flag. Troy Banks is running out of time. We will try and get back onto the leader just as he crosses the finish line. But right now, this is where the action is happening. Not only that, the battle for 4th and 5th. Adrian Adams and Kurt Moss are going at it as well.
Got racing all up and down the field. Last lap. Let's see what happens.
Well, I say that Adrian Adams and Kurt Moss, they've spread out a little bit, and certainly in comparison, Troy Banks absolutely... If there was a hitch on that Corvette, he'd be hooked to it, and just trying to put a nose on the inside, just try and get a little bit along the of the car up alongside Corey Mitchell's Corvette, and not quite able to get it done. Corey absolutely defending with everything he can. It's like he's put wing extensions on that just to try and hold Banks off, but not able to get it done. As I say that, he's putting a little bit of a nose in, but we're going to check in with our race leader, see whereabouts he is on track.
He's just coming through the hairpin. Few more corners left to go until he takes victory here.
All right, we'll get back to him in a minute. Let's go back to Troy Banks and Corey Mitchell. Definitely the hottest battle on track right now.
Daniel McKelvey just took victory.
There you go.
Finish line, congratulations.
That's Daniel McKelvey. He comes across the line in first. Philip Adams, he's going to be a little bit getting there, about 10 seconds back. He is going to be in second, and then Neil McDougall, you can see there, in third. Congratulations to them, but I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're going back to Troy Banks and Corey Miller, and there's another battle happening about 4 seconds behind him between Jemison Cusworth and Mark Miller, but I think the buzzer is going to go before the Troy Banks can get the goal in, unless he can do it on the start-finish. It's close, but no, Troy Banks has got it, and as we have a look in the background as well, the Porsche versus Porsche. Oh, so close. Matthew Morthart and Roman Bykoff, Mustang versus Mustang. Can these guys get it done?
Everybody's trying hard to get that move in the last lap, and nobody's been able to get it so far.
It definitely seems to be that pass going into turn 1 was the best place to do it. And where the start-finish line was just so close to the start of that straight, I think if it had been nearer the end, there would have been a very, very different result. But speaking of result, I'm going to try and get them up on the screen for us in just a second. I know I've been having a little bit of technical difficulties there, trying to make sure that we get them. But let's try and take a quick peek here at the results for Apex this round 2, live at Algave. Damn it. I did get told about how I need to fix that. I just obviously haven't managed to get around to it yet, but we will get there. So in first place, you had Daniel McKelvey in the Corvette C6 GT3R. Philip Adams about 11 seconds behind him, and Neil McDougall 3 seconds behind that in third. Kurt Martin, Adrian Adams, we saw them having a great battle in fourth and fifth, with Corey Mitchell and Troy Banks, one of the best battles we had on track, in sixth and seventh. Jamison Cusworth, he takes up eighth, with Mark Miller in ninth and Sean Garou in 10th.
In 11th, we've got William Maticek driving the Audi, followed by Roman Bykoff. He had a good battle with Matthew Morhart. Kent Big Dog Kruger running 14th. Morgan Smith, 15th. Luke Solberg in 16th. Tony Phillips was 17th. Brian Ewald, 18th. We had Dylan Furlong in 19th. Brian Zinn, with his early incident, he managed to finish 20th.
Yeah, definitely did not go well for Brian Zinn, and neither did it go well for Ali Salih. He finished there in 21st, with Russell Elizondo right behind him in 22nd. Rob Campbell definitely wasn't what he had in mind today as well. He was 23rd, and Donald Mensing, sadly, he was pretty popular on the incident screen. He was there. Tyler Reeb and Jordan Musser retiring quite early on, and yeah, it looked like a very, very colourful race. We're going to switch over to the cameras. We're going to see if we can get somebody in here for an interview. We'll see who's standing by. Just give me just a second here. Actually, no, you know what? We're not going to do the cams. There we go. All right, let's see who we got here in here wanting an interview. Trying to scroll my thing. So who we got? Daniel McKelvey. All right. Daniel McKelvey, your race winner. Tell us a little bit. How did the race go for you, sir?
Oh, you know, when you win, you can't complain. So I'll take that.
Well, that's one way of doing it.
Yeah, it was good. It was, exciting start. And then it was really, for me, it was mainly tire management from there on to the finish. And then especially after the pit stop cycle, I'm not sure what happened to the guys behind, but came out with a decent gap and was able to just manage to the end.
Tell us a little bit. Did you do anything on the setup for this? Because obviously having so much straights and being quite a high-speed track, and then watching some of the action, I did find a lot of the cars were spinning a little bit under the low-speed braking. So could you tell us a little bit about what you did for a setup? Maybe talk us through your key to success here.
Yeah, for sure. So I use Grid and Go setup shops. So I was just running their baseline race setup. So they had a safe setup, and the one I ended up running, which was a little bit looser, but found other than one or two corners where you just had to kind of mind the braking, it wasn't too bad. So I was able to run that one and keep the pace for the race.
Well, it definitely paid off for you. We thought Philip Adams was going to have a little bit of a shot earlier on, but you absolutely obliterated him with the pace. Now, is there anybody you want to thank while you're in the booth, sir?
Yeah, I guess I'll thank my On the Ledge Racing teammates. So Matt Morhart, who was running in the Mustang tonight, his first race in that car. And then last week's winner, Ryan Otis, who wasn't here this week, but hopefully we'll see him back in the future.
Well, definitely, ladies and gentlemen, that was your race winner, Daniel McKelvey. And before you go as well, we're having a quick look at the schedule. So it was at Algave this week, Watkins Glen last week, and we're heading to the Green Hell Nürburgring Grand Prix Stricker Grand Prix. How do you feel about that track and specifically that longer layout?
I'm pretty excited for it. That's one of my favorite tracks on the service. Not even to race, just to get on and just turn laps. Haven't done any laps in the Corvette on it, so we'll see how that goes, as the Corvette tends to not like bumpy tracks and curbs and things, which the Nürburgring is full of. So we'll have to see if we can keep it on the track, but looking forward to it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Daniel McKelvey. Thank you very much for coming in. Your race winner. Wow, Richard, tell us a little bit. What were some of the highlights for you during that race?
Well, I think the biggest highlight really was the Corey Mitchell and Troy Banks battle. That was just, both those guys I've raced with many times over the years, and they drove hard, they drove fair, they drove clean. It came all the way down to the last lap, and Corey just did a great defensive job of driving.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better battles on track. I do expect there's going to be even more, though, at the next event. But, ladies and gentlemen, my name has been Daniel Zippy Salmon. Well, actually, that's always been my name, but I've been Daniel Zippy Salmon. You know what? This is going great. I'm making a blooper reel for you guys. I'm Daniel Zippy Salmon. There we go. I'll get there eventually. this was Richard Swindales joining me in the booth, and thank you very much for joining us here at Pit Road Productions. It's been a pleasure. It's been a little bit haphazard as well. I don't usually direct shows. This is literally my second one. You guys have been seeing me evolve and develop, well, certainly making the efforts. And Richard as well, not usually in the commentary booth, so it's great to see him here joining me as well. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to love you and leave you for now, and we're going to be seeing you at the next round at the Nürburgring, and that's 1 week from today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back very briefly. One thing we can't forget to do is mention the sponsors that help make this happen. So Apex Sim Racing for immersive sim racing gear. They carry Cube Controls, Momo, Moser Racing, Sim Magic, OBP Motorsport, OMP, you can actually get that in real race cars as well, Rich DPC, and Apex Sim Racing brands.
Sim coaching, where your personal coach will make you a better sim racer. Blake Townsend is runs Full Speed Sim Coaching. He's a great racer. Blake's mission is for you to get a better understanding of sim racing fundamentals, take you to the next level. Using visual guidance and telemetry analysis, he caters to novice and intermediate racers using iRacing and Assetto Corsa.
Not only that, there are more options available to you as well. You got Get Good Racing with one-on-one coaching or a self-directed course. Get Good Racing has what you need to improve your iRacing skills. I could certainly deal with the help. Marion, and he is a 5K iRating driver, one of the top 1% of iRacing drivers. And in the end, his goal is to make you understand how you can self-coach yourself in the long run. So he's not really interested in just teaching you one track. He wants to basically give you the tools and making sure you can use them.
And race smarter with DRE. The digital race engineer is a premium spotter and crew chief with many additional benefits. Built exclusively for iRacing, it's the best iRacing spotter, perfect for VR users. It monitors your racing context. Monitors your racing context and alerts you. It's the crew chief iRacing needs. Use your voice or buttons to control over 400 commands. Get vital feedback from over 50 voice alerts. Nothing to look at and be distracted by, audio-only communication.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for not mentioning them a little bit sooner, but definitely check out some of the sponsors, and we're going to see you next week at the Nuremberg Ring. Thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll catch you next time. Okay, mics are off. No, they're not.